Hey everyone, so today I want to talk about how I've healed my relationship to weed. And this is something that has been 3 months in the running because I haven't smoked for the past 3 months and I still haven't smoked. But I had like an internal shift around my relationship to pot, which is why I feel like when I do smoke again, that it's not going to get me into the shackles that it often does whenever I do smoke after a period of time, because there's a couple of things that happen after my breaks. I smoke after a long time and it hits me and I feel so good because especially like when you've been smoking all the time and your tolerance is so high, like you don't really get like the magical effects of pot. And so when it finally does hit you, you're just like, oh my God, this shit is amazing. My body is so relaxed. Like my perspective is opening. I was so serious and uptight for the past couple of months and now I'm not anymore. Like you get all of these like epiphanies, and it's just kind of like the way that I see it is if my entire body is a clenched fist, the fist finally unclenches. And then I go, why did I ever think that quitting this substance was a good idea when I can finally be in a state where I'm relaxed and I'm clearly making decisions from like a much calmer perspective. It just, the math stops mathing for me. I'm like, clearly this is a benefit. This like makes my life better. And there's a couple of terrible things with this line of thinking, although even if 5 or 10% of it is true. Number one being, when I do this, when I say, oh, I need pot to get me into a particular state of mind, and that state of mind is superior for my sober state of mind, I'm now putting pot on a pedestal. I'm giving the keys to my life to a substance. I'm basically saying, I don't have the power within me. Lord marijuana, give me the power, and then I can see clearly through you. And what that's essentially doing is it's training my mind and body to not trust myself. It's training me to go, I don't have the answers. I don't know what to do with my life, with my brain, with my body. I don't know how to relax. I don't know how to regulate, but a substance has all of the answers. The substance is what is going to fix me. And the minute I do that, I'm basically handing the keys over to my life to a substance. It is now in complete control of me. And that's a huge problem. I can't have that because then I'm basically like, I have no self-control. My line of thinking just immediately wants the shortcut and it immediately just goes, well, I shouldn't trust myself because when I rely on myself, I'm stressed, I'm dysregulated, I'm operating from such a small, narrow perspective. And when I do smoke or partake inside pot or however you like to consume your marijuana, you end up inside like an elevated state of mind. And again, I don't deny that pot allows me to relax, that pot lets me kind of reflect in like on the way that I was acting in the time that I wasn't smoking, and then just kind of go, maybe I should do these things differently. It very much unwinds all of like my tense muscles, like the intense wiring that I've been operating in when I was sober. It very much kind of just lets it go for a second, and it's like I can finally take a big sigh of relief. And I appreciate that. I can understand that that's what the benefits of the plant does for me, but I don't need to then have it be my master, because what I'm doing when I'm placing so much importance on the fact that this is the only way I have access to this state of being, I'm basically becoming a slave to a substance. And that's when the lack of self-control comes. I just go, let me just smoke, because this is clearly good for me. And I've talked about this before, but it's the law of diminishing returns. It's good for you maybe the first couple of times, and then your tolerance goes through the roof, and then suddenly you're back in zombie mode because too much of a good thing is still not good for you. So then you're probably just like, well, how do I detach from that feeling that it gives me, that feeling of absolute relief. And, people who are inside chronic states of tension, stress, jobs that are not fulfilling them, family dynamics that are so brutal, like it's really easy to just want to grab for this shortcut. And I don't blame you, like at all by any means. I don't blame anyone who is looking at pot as a way for relief, because like I've been there and I get it. I get that it is so euphoric to just have something allow you to just completely unwind for a second, especially when you feel like nothing else can give you that feeling. And if I'm being honest, the closest thing that I've gotten to like something replicating the amount of tension releasing from my body in the same way as pot has been acupuncture. So I really recommend that, but obviously I can't go to an acupuncturist 5-6 times a week or anytime that I'm feeling stressed out. I have, however, started to do like acupressure massages in certain areas. Like your ears hold a lot of tension. So I find that even just like massaging out my ears helps relax me a bit, but I understand that it's not going to give me the same effect as pot. So you have to realize the fact that pot is not your master, but it is your teacher. You're using pot as a way to demonstrate to you a state that you do have access to, but maybe not entirely when you're sober. So basically, like if you can start to look at the way that you feel when you smoke and then go, okay, so now my shoulders are not as like rigid. My jaw has unclenched. My abdomen is not holding all of that pressure anymore. My toes can finally freaking wiggle. When I am smoking, my thoughts on how I want to behave in the world kind of like widens a little bit, I that's always something that has always gotten to me. Like I think people say this kind of often is like once they smoke they feel like sober them is very cringy, and it's not that you're cringy, it's just that you're probably operating more in a survival state, and when you're operating in a survival state you're not really acting in a way that you're going to be like, you're like, that's the real me. Like it's probably not it, because you're acting in a way that your body is just responding to. At the end of the day, like you need to have grace with yourself. Sober you is just trying its best at the end of the day, considering life circumstances, considering the fact that we all have bills to pay and we all have social media constantly on our brains, and everyone's like, like you probably might not be happy where you are, but you still have to see other people's amazing lives be shoved down your throat all the time. Like it's difficult, life is not easy. Like, and if you wrap all of that on the fact that like it kind of does feel like the world is on the brink of destruction, like there's a lot of reason to numb yourself, and that's just not even taking into account people's regular ass childhood trauma that they go through on top of that. So it's easy to look at it as like your one-stop shop for relief, but at the end of the day, like you need to look at it as if it's showing you what is possible for you, even if it's not going to be something that you have access to all of the time super quickly. Like you can still learn from it. So you can see that, look, when you're sober, you tend to be a little bit more stressed out, a little bit more like narrow focused. You can see the ways that your automatic actions and thoughts aren't something that you want to continue with. So take notes when you smoke and be like, this is the state that I enjoy. I enjoy it when my brain isn't operating on such an intense script of self-scrutiny. I like it when my body feels relaxed. This is what relaxation feels like. So every single time that you smoke, you can start to use those smoke sessions as a way to demonstrate to you how you want to be in your sober life. And when you do that, when you go, I'm smoking to learn a lesson as opposed to I'm smoking to provide myself relief, then that's a really big mindset shift, because you're not saying this is what I need in order to feel calm and happy. You're basically saying this is something that teaches me, sober me, how to be more authentically myself. And by doing that, you're releasing the power that pot holds on you. And with that being said, like my relationship with pot now is I've set a pretty intense rule of I'm only smoking during my luteal phase. And luteal phase, for those who aren't familiar with menstrual cycles, it's basically a week and a half before your period starts. So, and I have a limit of I'm not smoking 2 consecutive days in a row, because that's how I fall back into addiction pretty easily. Because then I just go, oh, let me just get that feeling again. Let me just get that feeling again. And if I feel that like craving so much, like I know that it means I have more work to do at the end of the day. But I want to try. So this is January. My luteal phase, TMI, is going to come up in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks or so. So I'm thinking of smoking in about 2 weeks when my luteal phase starts, and that's generally when my body holds a lot of tension. My anxiety kind of goes through the roof. Like, that's something that like it's a difficult time for me to handle. But I want to be careful with that, because there's a fine line. Because the minute I go, oh, I'm in my luteal phase, I need relief, I need to smoke, it's that line of thinking that becomes like a constant snowball effect. So it's more so what I'm trying to say to myself is, I'm in my luteal phase, which is a time that I get more stressed out. I want to smoke to show myself that this is what relaxation is, so that I can bring these feelings throughout my luteal phase. So I'm not like dependent on it. And with that being said, that doesn't mean that every single time I feel stressed or want relief, I'm smoking. It's almost like I want to smoke if I feel curious about a different perspective. It is not to bring me instant relief, because then again, it's back to that wiring in your brain. You're telling yourself that in order to feel relief, you need to smoke. And that's the one thing that you're trying to break. It's not that pot is the only way to feel relief. There's a lot of other ways, from stretching to massages to breath work, meditation. But I completely get it that pot is like basically an instant switch, which is why like, yeah, you can try to do all these other things, but at the end of the day, sometimes it doesn't compare to what pot can do for you, especially if you're under chronic stress. So what you have to essentially tell yourself is, look, the things that I do to relax and teach myself to stay calm, similar to the state of when I'm smoking, is not to fully gain the effects of when I'm smoking. Like, it's not to completely replicate me being high, but it's just to get at least 10 or 20% more there. So in my luteal phase, when I start to smoke, number one, it's not, if I'm having like a really, really terrible day, I'm like super emotionally distressed, like I'm not going to smoke. I'm picking a day where, it's just kind of something that I'm like, I think that this will benefit me, where there's like a calm feeling about it, where even if I chose not to smoke that night, I wouldn't go crazy. I wouldn't feel weird about it. So it's kind of like, even if I am in my luteal phase and I do have a little bit of extra tension, I'm smoking if I'm still neutral about the decision, where it's not that little fiendy voice in my head that's going, I gotta smoke tonight. It's like a chill, like, oh, okay, like, I have some time. I don't have anything super important to do tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to smoke tonight and like see if I've been holding tension places, and then try to bring that learning into my days moving forward. So one, it needs to come from like a neutral place, not like a place of absolute desperation and ache. If you're feeling like really messed up, I would really recommend to just distract yourself and not necessarily push through your pain, but don't numb yourself with pot. Because like I said, you're wiring your brain in the worst way, and it's going to end up like, it's going to end up having like a damaging effect on you. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you're chill, if you can be chill about your decision to smoke that night, smoke. If it's coming from a place of absolute urgency, that's a really great sign that you need to just take a step back and maybe even just go to sleep. Like, that's a really big thing. Also, like, sometimes you just need to sleep. If it's past 8 p.m. and like you're like, I need to smoke, just go to bed. Like, you're probably just exhausted, like dead ass. Go to sleep, drink some chamomile, call it a night. Okay, you don't need to smoke. And with that being said, I actually want to say, like, if I am smoking, there are also other parameters that I'm going to be working with. So one, there's no wake and bakes. I'm not spending my entire day stoned. That's not the intention. And if I am smoking, it's going to be between the times of like 7 to 9 p.m. Like, it's an evening thing. But if it gets really late at night, then it's like, bro, just go to sleep. you don't need to smoke, just sleep. Okay. And so basically the point of all of this is just to be extremely intentional about my use with pot. It's not to be like, oh, like I feel messed up and I want relief and I know it's only 5 p.m. right now, but maybe I'll just have a little bit. All of that out the window, because that's what got me stuck in the first place. So basically seeing it as like a neutral teacher, and if it's coming from a neutral place of wanting to smoke, then sure, I'll partake. And with that being said, it's not 2 consecutive days in a row. I can only do it, like I'm okay with smoking twice a month, but it can't be 2 days in a row. So maybe like when my luteal phase starts, and then maybe like, let's say a week and a half goes by and I'm like 1 or 2 days away from my period, maybe during that time. But again, it's only if it feels right to me. I think the problem is that once you pedestalize pot and you say like, this is my only way to feel okay, you end up in a really bad trap and you give away agency. You give away the fact that you are fully capable of relaxing and calming yourself down, which I know is like hard to believe, especially if you spent your whole life giving away your agencies to a substance, to people, to a TV show. Like we do this a lot, right? And I did this a lot at the beginning of myself getting sober. Like instead of smoking, I was just watching TV 24/7. Or I was on dating apps a lot. And it's just like at some point, like I had to look at myself and just go, what I'm basically doing is outsourcing like my ability to regulate to anything else that I can find. And I think once I changed my perspective on the fact that I do have the ability to calm myself down. And even if I can't calm down, I have the ability to bear pain. I have the ability to endure my own fucking suffering, no matter how miserable that sounds. I have the ability to just sit with it and know, like, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to just have to sit there and be like, I don't feel good right now. I feel lonely. I feel sad. I miss my mom and dad. I have no friends. I don't like my job. Like none of that is fucking fun. Okay, it's miserable. It sucks. And you're just kind of sitting there like, what even? Like all I want to do right now is smoke and go into my little la la land and enjoy my life, because life has already been so hard on me. But you're then robbing yourself of a beautiful future because you're training yourself to say, I cannot trust myself. And I promise you that you can. I really do. I promise you that you have the ability to sit with the demons inside of you and pet their heads and go, it's going to be okay. And I know that life is hard. Okay, I'm like, people's lives are significantly harder than mine. And sometimes telling people to not smoke when it's their lifeline, like, that's not really what I'm trying to get at. Like, if it truly is your lifeline right now, please keep smoking. Smoke away the day, man. But if you feel like you want to build a new relationship with yourself and a new relationship to pot, limit how much you're smoking, and then say that when you do smoke, that it's just a way to teach you how to be someone that you want to be closer to, how to be more relaxed. Take notes, really just understand the state of being that you're craving, and try to apply that state of being sober once you stop smoking. And if you are still smoking super regularly and you're trying to taper off like your relationship to it, I don't actually recommend going cold turkey. Like, I would recommend doing what I just said, which is like slowly just decreasing the amount that you're smoking until you can get by like a couple of days that like you just don't smoke. I really recommend though, like, so if you want to like quit smoking but you want to revisit pot, going cold turkey, like for me, that's what I did, because it was the only way for me to like, I don't have any self-control. Like, there is no such thing as me smoking a little bit. But if you're able to just smoke a little bit day by day and then like lower that amount and the like every single day, like that's a lot easier. The symptoms of withdrawal are a lot softer on you as well. If you have to go cold turkey, then go cold turkey, but just basically like the first month or so, it's honestly just like a mental game of like needing to trust the process of like going day by day, you know, not looking at, oh, I can't smoke for the next 2 weeks. I can't, just you have to go day by day. You need to take it easy. And I the last episode I recorded, as well as everything I did to prepare myself to stop smoking. So feel free to listen to that. But like, I would recommend taking a break, a minimum 3-month break from pot. I don't think that 1 month is enough. I don't think 2 months. I think a minimum 3-month break before you even consider smoking again. And I had to be super honest with myself about this as well. Like, because I was genuinely about to smoke on New Year's and I didn't, because I felt fiendy. I felt like no, like, because I basically am in my follicular phase. And I told myself that, like, follicular, by the way, is like when you're naturally already feeling really good as a woman. So I was like, I honestly don't need to smoke. Like, I just feel like smoking because I want to smoke and I haven't for a while. And I was like, that's not, these are not the intentions that I've set. So I was like, no, like, I said I'm going to smoke during my luteal phase as a way to help relax my body and just to, like, show myself how I am in a state of a little bit more ease and, like, bring that into my sober life. Like, that was the intention I set. And if I smoke right now, it's actually not matching that intention. So even after your 3-month break, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Like, are you ready to fucking smoke? And if you're not, then you're not. There's no shame in that. And there's also no, like, this is not a game, right? At the end of the day, it's just a relationship with yourself that you're trying to build. So let's say you do smoke and you didn't listen to your intuition, like, and you end up, oh, fuck, like, I smoked. Just don't do it again. Like, don't make a rule for yourself. Okay, you had a 3-month break, you smoked. Okay, don't smoke again. And then just take another break and just keep going. If you do feel like you're finally in a state to try smoking again, be honest with yourself that, okay, I smoked after my 3-month break and I was intentional. I followed all the steps. I'm just using it as a way to relax my body, or whatever it is, whatever intention it is that you're setting with pot and the reason why you're smoking. Be honest with yourself. And if the next day you wake up and you're like, I want to smoke again, acknowledge that. Acknowledge the fact that, man, like, I'm still fucking fiending. And it's okay to, like, it's okay to want a substance that, like, you used to rely on all the time for relief, right? Like, that's actually a very natural thing. And when I first smoke again, I'm almost expecting myself to get into, like, a weird, like, maybe I want to smoke again after this. But the reason why I love pot, and I always have, it's because it allows me to just unwind that chronic tension. And I love myself enough to give myself the experience of having a little bit of reprieve. But the trick is not saying that this is the only way I'm able to have it, and not indulging to the point where I'm not acting in good faith. I'm actually doing something bad for myself. That's not the point of this either. So it's like a balance at the end of the day. It's a balance of being like, this is something that can be part of self-care if used intentionally, properly, and not as a way to escape life. If it's used as a demonstration for what life for me sober can look like. So yeah. Those are my 3-5 cents on healing your relationship to weed. I wish you guys the best of luck, truly. Be honest with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. At the end of the day, we're all living on this earth for the first time, and nobody knows what the fuck they're doing anyways. And we're all just, we're all just trying our best, you know. I don't have all the answers. I know some people say, like, just don't ever smoke again. Don't ever smoke again. I don't personally want to do that because I've always loved pot. Like, I have a profound love for it. I really do. I think it's a lovely substance when it's used properly. And the problem is truly, like, when it's not used properly. Because once it's not used properly, like I said, too much of a good thing becomes not a very good thing. So I want to be able to hold the sacredness of it throughout my journey, and obviously smoking it all day, every day is not doing that justice. So yeah, I wish you guys the best of luck. You got this. You truly got this. Whether you're still smoking, you're on your break, you're whatever it is that you're doing, wherever you are in your journey, just trust that you're going to get to where you need to go. Everything is happening on exactly the timeline that it is supposed to happen. You're not behind. You didn't waste time. You're not a failure. Whatever silly thing you're telling yourself, all of that is not true. You are a person who is trying, and a person who tries is a 10 out of 10. So yeah, I love ya. Take care. See ya.